A 7-year-old girl wakes up alone on an alien world. Emerald skies, silver trees, predators she can't name. Her parents are gone. Her only hope, the mercy of creatures she was taught to fear. This is how one child's survival reshaped humanity's place in the cosmos. The Orion shuttle hits atmosphere. Alarms cut through the cabin like a blade. 7-year-old Aliyah Summers clenches a worn stuffed elephant. Her parents press close, their bodies a final wall between her and the coming violence. Hull plates screech. The metal skin peels back. Atmosphere howls through the new opening. It pulls at everything not bolted down. Her father's hands move fast over the emergency panel. He slams the pod release. The ship groans along its spine, a deep structural complaint. Harnesses bite into shoulders as the craft shakes apart. Her mother works quickly. She fastens a small locket around Aliyah's neck. The metal feels cool. Her fingers are steady. Outside the viewport, fragments of their life tumble away like dark rain. The pod door hisses shut. It seals them in a smaller, quieter space. For one breath, it is just the three of them, pressed together. Then the launch sequence engages. Acceleration shoves them back into their seats. The pod tears free of the dying ship. It spins into the chaos. Through the small window, Terrian 5's surface rushes up, a swirl of unfamiliar colors, no pattern she recognizes. Turbulence batters the small craft. It feels like being shaken in a metal box. The landing is not soft. It is a series of impacts, a violent scraping, then a final jolt that rattles teeth. Silence follows. The pod's internal lights flicker and die. The constant hum of its systems cuts out. Aliyah opens her eyes. Her head throbs. The air smells of burnt wiring and something else, something sharp and foreign. She is alone in the dimness. Her parents' seats are empty. The harnesses hang loose. She unbuckles herself. Her hands tremble. The pod is wrecked, its interior cracked and exposed. One wall is torn open, showing a landscape of purple soil and silver tree trunks. Light from an emerald sky filters through the smoke. She drags her stuffed animal with her as she crawls from the broken shell. The ground is soft and strange under her knees. Her leg aches where the harness dug in during the crash. The only sounds now are alien, a chorus of chimes from the trees, a low rumble in the distance. The escape pod lies ruined, its purpose fulfilled. It got her down alive. Nothing more. She stands on shaky legs, holding her elephant tight. The locket rests against her chest. She is completely alone, surrounded by a world that does not know her name. The silence is broken only by the wind moving through leaves that sound like glass. Aliyah watches the emerald sky. It does not shift like Earth's. The light hangs. It does not glare or dim in familiar ways. Every breath feels sharp. It scratches the back of her throat. Something in this air is not meant for human lungs. Each inhale is a small warning. Each exhale a gamble. From the silver-barked trees comes a steady chime. The leaves move in a wind that carries smells she has never known. Ozone, like after a storm, a heavier scent beneath it, something old and decaying. It's the smell of a world that has lived a long time without people. Her leg throbs. The crash harness left a deep, angry mark. It burns when she puts weight on it. Pain is a clear signal. It tells her not to run. Not yet. Then a sound rolls through the forest. A low vibration she feels in her ribs more than hears. It builds from the ground up. It's answered by a shriek from above. High, cutting. The two sounds define the space around her. One a threat from below, one from the canopy. She is in the middle. She crawls from the wreckage. The purple soil is fine-grained. It clings to her hands and knees. She does not let go of the stuffed elephant. Its fur is matted with dust and a smear of something dark from the crash. It drags beside her, a small anchor to what came before. Her mind reaches for lessons. The survival training from the ship. Find water, seek shelter. But the rules assumed an Earth-like place. They did not account for purple ground, for chiming trees, for a sky the color of polished stone. Her human knowledge is a poor map here. The world writes its own rules. Her fingers go to the locket. The metal is cool against her skin. It feels heavier than it should. A weight of promises made in a different life. A reminder of voices that are now gone. It is not just jewelry, it's the last piece of them. Tears come. She does not try to stop them. They are silent. They mix with the alien dirt on her face. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is making a decision while afraid. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. She takes stock, one stuffed animal, for comfort, for a voice in the dark. One locket, for memory, for a reason to keep going. One broken escape pod, for shelter, for a starting point. She looks toward the tree line. The silver roots of one tree have pushed up from the soil. They form a shallow space beneath. It is not a cave. It is not a home, but it is cover. It will hide her from the things that scream in the high branches and rumble in the earth. She gathers a few larger fragments from the pod, not for a weapon, for a barrier. She crawls into the space, pulling her few things with her. The light is fading. The emerald sky deepens toward black. The chiming of the leaves grows softer. The night belongs to the hunters now. She pulls her knees to her chest. The stuffed elephant is tucked under her chin. She listens. She waits. The first night on an alien world has begun. 3 days without food sharpens the senses. Aaliyah hears things she would have missed before. The rustle of a leaf is not just wind. It is data. The snap of a twig is a story. Her body is weak, but her mind is alert. Thirst is a constant companion. Hunger is a dull ache in her stomach. She learns the forest's language. The wind makes the silver leaves sing a high, clear note. It is a sound without threat. The movement of predators is different, it is lower. A scrape against bark. A heavy step that vibrates through the soil. She stays close to the wreckage, using its bulk for cover. The metal is still warm from a sun that does not feel like her sun. She is leaning against the pod's warm hull when she sees it. A flash of blue between two silver trunks. It moves differently. It does not stalk or shuffle. It glides. The motion is smooth, deliberate, too graceful for any animal she knows. Her breath catches in her throat. She presses herself flat against the metal, making herself small. Her fingers tighten on the stuffed elephant. Its worn fabric is a poor shield. The creature steps into a patch of light. It is tall, slender. Its skin is a deep, shifting blue, like ocean water under a strange sky. It has 2 arms, 2 legs, but the proportions are wrong. Longer, more fluid. Then it turns its head. Its eyes find her. They are not like human eyes. They glow with a soft internal light, catching the emerald rays filtering through the canopy. They hold no immediate malice, only a deep, unsettling curiosity. It stands perfectly still, looking at her. It makes no move to come closer. It carries objects in its hands, woven containers made from some pliable, reed-like plant. A smell reaches her. Earth, rich and dark, and something else underneath it. Something sweet, like ripened fruit. It is not the smell of a hunter. It is the smell of gathering, of tending. She freezes. Every instinct tells her to run, to hide deeper in the wreckage. But her body is too weak for flight. Her leg still pulses with a dull pain. She has no water. The choice is stark. Stay hidden and face the slow fade of thirst, or face the unknown creature. Her fear is a cold knot in her stomach. Her need is a raw, open wound. The being takes a single step forward. It moves with a caution that mirrors her own. It is not the aggressive charge of a predator. It is a careful approach, an assessment. It stops again, well out of reach. It watches her. Its glowing eyes seem to take in her small form, the torn clothing, the dirt on her face. It sees a child, not a threat. Then it does something unexpected. It slowly extends one long-fingered hand. The hand is empty. It holds no weapon, no tool. The palm is open, facing upward, It is a universal gesture, a question, an offer. The woven containers sit on the ground by its feet. The gesture says, "I am not here to harm you." Aaliyah's heart hammers against her ribs. Fear screams at her to retreat. But a deeper, more primal need pushes back. The need for water. The need for help. She looks from the open hand to the creature's face. The luminescent eyes watch her, patient. This is the moment. The line between two worlds. Her decision will not just determine her survival. It will define the first contact between her species and his. She takes a shallow, shaky breath. She does not move. His name is Saren. He knows the girl sees a monster, a tall thing of alien blue and glowing eyes. He keeps his movements slow, predictable. He holds his hands where she can see them. Long fingers, no claws. He is a hunter and gatherer for his people. But today he is neither. Today he is a diplomat for his species. Aaliyah's small hands close around a jagged piece of hull metal. She pulls it from the wreckage. It is too heavy for her. Her thin arms shake with the strain. She holds it like a sword, a pathetic shield against the unknown. The action speaks a language Saren understands perfectly. It says, "Stay back." It says, "I am afraid." He stops moving. He respects the boundary her fear has drawn. He lowers himself into a crouch. His movements are fluid, almost boneless. He places the two woven containers on the purple soil. One is sealed with a waxy leaf. The other is open, holding dark, grainy paste. He takes 2 full steps back. He leaves the offerings in the space between them. He points to the open container. He brings his fingertips to his mouth in a universal gesture. Then he points to the sealed one. He mimics drinking. He does not speak. His voice is a low melodic hum, but he does not use it. Words would be noise, meaningless sound. The only language that matters now is action, the language of need. He watches her face. He sees the conflict, the deep animal fear warring with a thirst that must be a fire in her throat. She hasn't drunk in days. Her skin is too pale. Her eyes are hollow. She is a small creature dying of stubbornness. He waits, he is patient. His people measure time in seasons, not seconds. His glowing eyes shift from her face to her leg. She favors it. A dark bruise blooms across her shin, visible through a tear in her suit. He points to the injury. Then he points to the container of dark paste. He makes a smoothing motion with his hand. An offer. Medicine for pain. Aaliyah's grip on the metal shard loosens. The point dips toward the ground. The gesture is too specific, too understanding. A predator would not offer to heal. Her arm aches from holding her makeshift weapon. Her leg throbs with a hot, persistent pulse. She makes a decision. She lets the metal fall. It lands with a dull thud in the soft soil. Saren moves forward. He does not rush. He keeps his eyes on hers, a steady, non-threatening gaze. He kneels beside her. His skin smells of rain and clean stone. He dips his fingers into the paste. It is cool to the touch. He gestures for her to show him the wound. She hesitates, then pulls up the torn leg of her suit. The bruise is ugly, a deep purple-black. He applies the paste with a light touch. His fingers are surprisingly warm. The effect is immediate. A deep, penetrating coolness spreads through the injury. It does not just numb the surface. It seems to seep into the muscle, the bone. The sharp stabbing pain dissolves into a dull ache, then into nothing. The inflammation visibly recedes as she watches, the angry color fading to a faint yellow. Human med gel could numb. It could not heal like this. This is something else. Something profoundly alien. She looks from her leg to his face. The fear is still there, but now it is mixed with something new. A fragile, dawning trust. It was not built with words. It was built with a simple act of care. The paste does more than numb. It works on a level human science cannot chart. It is not a chemical reaction they can replicate in a lab. It is something deeper. A biological negotiation. The Lurans move around her with a quiet economy. They do not speak to each other. They do not need to. Their coordination is silent, instinctual. A glance from one glowing set of eyes to another conveys a full assessment. They see her not as a machine with broken parts, but as a living system out of balance. Their luminescent eyes pass over her. They do not use scanners or diagnostic tools. They seem to read her vital signs in the air. They see the heat of her fever, the shallow rhythm of her breath. They understand her dehydration not as a lack of water, but as a drain on her entire being. Their medicine is not about fixing a single problem. It is about restoring a whole. They bring new poultices. These are made from plants that grow in the deep forest. The leaves have a soft internal light. They glow with a faint blue radiance, a light that seems to breathe. Under the twin moons of Tarian 5, these poultices come alive. They pulse softly against her skin. The Lurans apply them to her forehead, her chest. The heat of her fever meets the cool, living light. The two forces engage in a silent battle. Human medicine attacks sickness. It uses drugs to kill invaders to force a change. Luran medicine invites the body to heal itself. It provides the tools, the energy. The fever is not an enemy to be defeated. It is a process to be guided. Her body temperature climbs, then holds at a peak. Sweat beads on her skin. The Lurans watch, their expressions unreadable. Then the fever breaks. It does not crash. It recedes like a tide, leaving her clear-headed and exhausted. The change is swift, complete. They bring her water in a shallow bowl carved from a single piece of dark wood. The water is not clear. It holds suspended particles that gleam in the light. It tastes of minerals, iron, and salt, but there is another taste beneath that. A faint vibration on the tongue, a sense of something alive in the liquid. It is not contaminated. It is enriched. She drinks, and the water does more than quench thirst. It seems to fortify her from within. The wound on her leg is the final proof. The bruise has vanished. The skin, once torn and bruised, knits itself back together. There is no scar, no tightness, no pale mark to show the injury ever happened. The skin is smooth, new. It is a perfect repair. Human medicine leaves a record of damage. A scar is a story of survival written on the body. Luran medicine erases the story. It returns the body to the state it was in before the harm. This is not just advanced botany. It is an understanding of life that humans do not possess. It is a knowledge that sees a living creature as a whole, a single entity in constant conversation with its environment. The Lurans do not heal the part. They heal the whole. She watches her rescuer move among the others. He is the one who first approached, the one who offered the paste. She points a small finger at him. Her voice is rough from disuse. She tries to form the sounds he made when he pointed to himself. Saren. The word is awkward in her mouth. The blue-skinned alien turns. His luminescent eyes settle on her. He gives a slow, deliberate nod. It is the first word of his language she learns. It is the name of the being who chose not to be a monster. Sareen does not tell her they are going to his home. He simply begins to walk. He moves with that same silent grace into the deeper forest. Alia follows. Her steps are hesitant. The silver trees grow thicker here, their trunks wider. The air changes. It hums with a low energy. Then she sees it. The settlement is not built on the land. It is built into it. The massive silver trees are not cut down. They are shaped. Their living trunks form archways and walls. They are fused together to create structures that are half wood, half architecture. It is a village made from the forest itself. The walls glow. A soft internal light pulses through the living wood. It is a light that breathes. It brightens and dims in a slow, steady rhythm. As a Luran passes a hand over a section of wall, the light responds. It flares gently under their touch, tracing the path of their fingers. It is not a switch. It is a conversation. The light is a living part of the structure. They step into a central clearing. The movement stops. Dozens of pairs of luminescent eyes turn toward them. The entire village is watching. Tall, slender forms pause in their tasks. They stand in doorways on woven platforms high in the trees. Their blue skin seems to absorb the pulsing light. They do not speak. They simply observe. The weight of their collective gaze is immense. It is not hostile. It is assessing. A child from another star stands in their midst, a small, pale creature in torn clothing. She holds her stuffed elephant tight against her chest. Her old life provided no manual for this. How do you adapt when every sight, every smell, every rule is foreign? The answer is not in a book. It is in the doing. They do not force her to learn. They simply live, and she watches. They offer her food, a round, soft fruit that feels like velvet. When she bites into it, the flavor is bright and citrusy. A moment later, it shifts. It becomes earthy, rich. It changes to meet what her body lacks. It is not a single taste. It is a response. Their communication is a tapestry of sound and light. They sing as they work. The melodies are complex, layered. At first, it is just music. Then she starts to hear the patterns. A specific sequence of notes warns of incoming weather from the eastern ridge. A different cadence describes the movement of a predator pack to the west. Their songs are a living news broadcast, a survival guide set to music. The walls teach her too. The pulsating light is not random. It forms patterns. Flowing lines might indicate a water source. A clustered star-like pattern could signal a communal gathering spot. Within weeks, her brain begins to decode it. She learns to read the light. She knows where the cleanest water is, where the community will eat when a storm is approaching. She is learning to see the world through Luran eyes. The elder approaches. His skin is a deeper blue, etched with fine lines that catch the light. He moves with a slow, deliberate authority. He does not speak to her. He places both hands on her shoulders. His touch is warm, firm. It is not a test. It is an acceptance. The surrounding Lurans bow their heads in unison. The ritual is complete. She is no longer a guest. She is part of the circle. Her days become a blend of two cultures. She eats the changing fruit. She drinks the mineral water. She learns to hum the weather warnings, but she also keeps her human memories close. Her small sleeping space is a mix of both worlds. Her worn stuffed elephant sits on a shelf of woven reeds. Next to it rests a Luran toy, a complex crystal that chimes softly when touched. The two objects, one from Earth, one from Tarian 5, exist side by side. She is not just a human child living with aliens. She is becoming something new. A blend, a bridge. Her understanding is now half human, half Luran. The locket stays closed for 6 months. It hangs against her chest, a cold weight of memory she is not ready to hold. She feels its shape through her tunic, a constant quiet reminder of the world she lost. One evening, by the light of the communal fire, her fingers find the clasp. The metal is warm from her skin. She takes a slow breath and opens it. The tiny screen flickers to life. Her parents smile out at her, frozen in a moment before the chaos. Her father's arm is around her mother's shoulders. Her mother is looking at the camera, her expression bright and unguarded. It is a memory from a ship's corridor, a casual snapshot. The silence in the image is the loudest sound she has ever heard. Her throat tightens. The grief is a physical pressure behind her eyes. The Lurans around her fall still. They sense the shift in her energy. Their luminescent eyes watch her, but they do not crowd her. They offer a respectful silence. They understand loss in a way that is woven into their culture. Serene moves to sit beside her. He does not look at the locket. He looks at her face. He sees the tears she does not let fall. He shows her later. He takes her to the center of the village, to a large, clear crystal that stands taller than he is. He places his palm flat against its cool surface. Light pulses within it, flowing in complex patterns. These are not just recordings. They are living memories. The Lurans do not keep their history in books. They store it here. The feelings, the sounds, the essence of their ancestors live inside this network of light. It is how they honor those who are gone. They do not forget. They integrate. In the evenings, they perform light rituals. They gather around the central crystal. Each person contributes a memory, a color, a pattern, a feeling. It flows into the collective whole. Their grief is not a private thing to be endured. It is a shared experience to be added to the story of their people. Aliyah watches these ceremonies for weeks. Then one night she does not just watch. She stands by the fire. The flames cast long shadows. She begins to sing. Her voice is soft at first, unsteady. It is a song her mother used to sing. A simple human lullaby with a gentle melody. The words are about stars and sleep and safety. The Lurans stop their quiet conversations. They turn toward the sound. It is unlike anything in their own music. The tune is simple, the cadence different. But the emotion within it, the longing and the love, is a language they understand perfectly. They listen until she finishes. The last note hangs in the air. Then the elder steps forward. He approaches the great memory crystal. He places his hands upon it. The light within shifts, swirling. It seems to capture the echo of her song. A new pattern forms, a soft looping helix of blue and silver light. It is her mother's lullaby, translated into Luran memory. It is now part of them. Her personal human loss has been woven into the tapestry of their collective history. She is no longer just a survivor. She is a contributor. This shift in her status becomes physical weeks later. The rains come, heavy and relentless. A nearby stream swells, its banks overflowing. The water rushes through the lower parts of the village, cold and fast. Saren's younger sibling, a small Luran child, is caught in the current. The water pulls the child toward a debris-choked narrows. The Lurans move toward the bank, but their bodies are built for the trees. not the water. They are not strong swimmers. Aliyah does not hesitate. She plunges into the churning flow. The water is icy. The current tugs at her legs. But she knows this. Human bodies can be made for water. She uses a sturdy crawl stroke, fighting the pull. She reaches the child, grabs a slender arm, and kicks hard for the shore. She drags them both onto the muddy bank, gasping. The act is small, a quick reaction, but its meaning is vast. The Lurans look at her differently. The child they protected has now protected one of their own. She used knowledge they did not have. The dynamic between them shifts irrevocably. She is not under their care. She is part of their defense. She is moved from protected to protector. Saren takes her to the high ridge on the anniversary. The land falls away below them. He says nothing. He just points. The valley floor is littered with metal. Scattered fragments of the Orion catch the emerald light. They look like broken toys abandoned by a giant. The shape of the ship is gone. Only its pieces remain. Aliyah's breath catches. She had buried these memories deep. She put them away to focus on survival. The sight of the wreckage pulls them all back to the surface. The sound of tearing metal. The smell of smoke. The final push into the pod. Her parents' faces. The memories are sharp. They cut, he speaks then. His voice is low, a quiet hum that blends with the wind. The past shapes us, he says. But it does not define us. The words are simple. They land with a heavy truth. She looks from the wreckage to his calm, glowing eyes.
He understands.
His people are keepers of memory. They know the weight of the past. They also know how to carry it without being crushed by it. They descend into the valley. The air is still here, quiet. The smell hits her first. It is faint after a year, but it is there. The acrid scent of melted polymers and scorched metal. The smell of the crash. Her feet crunch on purple soil mixed with twisted composite framing. She walks through the graveyard of her old life. The Lurans follow them down. They move with a quiet respect. They do not see junk. They see sacred ground. They begin to work without being asked. They gather the larger pieces of wreckage. They do not treat them as trash. They handle the twisted metal with care. They bring smooth, heavy stones from the riverbed. They work in their silent, efficient way. They are not building a marker for a ship. They are building a memorial for a family. They weave strands of glowing lichen through the metal. They set the stones in a spiral pattern, a Loran symbol for a journey's end and a new beginning. The structure takes shape. It is a fusion. Human metal and Luran stone. It is jagged and smooth, cold and living all at once. It is a physical representation of her own life now, a blend of two worlds. The ceremony is wordless. The Lurans place their hands on the structure. The lichen glows brighter under their touch. The light pulses in a slow, respectful rhythm. Aliyah steps forward. She holds the stuffed elephant. Its fur is matted. One ear is nearly torn off. It has been her comfort, her silent friend through the terror of the crash and the loneliness of the first nights. It is the last piece of her childhood. She kneels and places it gently within the stone and metal circle. It is a final offering, a way to leave that scared little girl here with her parents. It is not an act of forgetting. It is an act of peace. She stands. She feels lighter. The ghosts of the valley are quieter now. They have been acknowledged, honored. She turns her back on the wreckage and walks toward the village with Saren and the others. She is different. The past is a part of her, but it is no longer a chain. She is ready for what comes next. The memorial stands behind her in the quiet valley, a quiet proof that two different species can come together to honor a single shared memory. It is a promise written in stone and metal. The sound comes from above. It is a deep rhythmic thrum that cuts through the forest's natural symphony. It is not the wind in the silver leaves. It is not the low call of a predator. It is a vibration she feels in her teeth. Aliyah freezes. Her head tilts upward. She knows that sound. It lives in her muscle memory from early childhood. It is the sound of human engines, the specific harmonic resonance of an Earth Alliance drive core. Her heart gives a hard, sudden thump against her ribs. It is not entirely joy. It is a confused mix of relief and dread. Ships tear through the emerald atmosphere. They are angular, gunmetal gray. Their shapes are aggressive, all hard edges and weapon mounts. They descend with a purposeful, violent grace that is utterly alien to this world. They are nothing like the organic, flowing forms of Luran technology. These are machines built for war, for domination. They settle in a clearing near the village, their landing struts crushing the delicate purple flora underfoot. The engines wind down, but the threat they represent grows louder. A hatch hisses open on the lead vessel. A figure in tactical armor emerges. Captain Riki scans the environment through his helmet's visor. His voice crackles over an external speaker, sharp and clear. It is standard comm channel protocol. This is Captain Riki of the Earth Alliance vessel Resolute. We are responding to a long-range distress beacon. Identify yourselves. The words are formal, sterile. They carry the weight of procedure. Soldiers deploy behind him. They move in a practiced, efficient flow. Their boots are loud on the ground. They fan out, weapons held ready. Their eyes are not on the beauty of the silver trees or the pulsing light of the village. Their eyes are on potential threats. They scan for heat signatures, for movement, for anything that does not fit a human profile. Their training is for hostile first contact. They are not prepared for what they see. The Lurans do not scatter. They do not raise weapons. They move with a calm, unified purpose. Adults form protective circles around their young. Their glowing eyes are fixed on the new arrivals. Their bodies become living shields. And within the largest circle, they place Alia. They pull her into the center, their blue hands gentle but firm on her shoulders. She is one of their own to protect. The soldiers see it. They see the blue-skinned aliens. They see the strange organic village. Their weapon sights track across the gathering. Fingers rest near triggers. Captain Key's helmet display flashes with data, life signs, dozens of non-human readings, and then one single impossible signal, a human biosignature, pure, undiluted. It is coming from the center of the alien group. His tactical readout highlights a small figure surrounded by tall blue beings. His breath catches. The mission briefing spoke of a potential lone survivor. A child. The data was years old. It was a faint hope. A recovery operation. Not this. His voice barks over the comms, sharp with urgency. The order echoes across the tense clearing, cutting through the hum of ship systems and the soft chime of the leaves.
Hold fire.
I repeat, hold fire. The command is absolute. The soldiers lower their rifles. The barrels dip toward the ground, but their stances do not relax. Their heads are on a swivel. Their defensive perimeter holds. Weapons are lowered, but readiness remains. They are looking at a scene their training manuals never covered. A human child alive, standing protected by the very aliens they were prepared to fight. Captain Key advances slowly. He keeps his hands raised and visible. His eyes are locked on Alia. He sees a girl who should not be alive. Her face is older. Her eyes hold a depth that does not belong to a child. She stands within a circle of tall, blue-skinned beings. Their glowing eyes watch his every move. They do not look away. Their formation around her is absolute. It is not a cage. It is a shield. We picked up the Orion's distress signal, he says. His voice is flat, stripped of emotion. It is a report. It was weak, degraded, years old. He takes another step. The Lurans do not react. They are still as statues. The signature led us here. We scanned the wreckage in the valley. He stops. His gaze sweeps over the alien villagers, then returns to her. You're the only survivor we've found. The words hang in the air. They are a final verdict on her past. Her parents are truly gone. The confirmation is a cold stone in her stomach. But the feeling is brief. It is overshadowed by the present. She looks from Captain Key's hard, tactical face to the serene, watchful eyes of the Lurans. She sees two worlds staring at each other across a canyon of misunderstanding. They see potential threats. She sees her people. Both of them. She understands her new role in a single clarifying moment. She is the only one who speaks both languages. Not the words, the intentions, the fears. She must become the bridge. She sees the soldiers behind Key. Their weapons are lowered, but their posture is taut. Their eyes are not on the aliens' faces. They are scanning the village itself. The pulsing light in the living walls, the woven tools, the organic technology that has no wires, no circuits. Their interest is clinical, hungry. She knows that look. It is the look of assessment, of calculation. Earth is always looking for an edge, for resources, for advantage. Why here? Why now? The distress signal was old, almost forgotten. The sudden appearance of a rescue mission feels convenient. She looks at the strategic placement of the ships. They control the high ground. They cover the valley entrance. This is not just a recovery. It is a foothold. Tarian 5 is remote, untouched. Its location between sectors is tactically valuable. Its resources are unknown, which makes them potentially invaluable. The Lurans are not a threat to be neutralized. They are a variable to be managed. Their world is an asset to be secured. Key's officers move with quiet purpose. They hold handheld scanners. The devices emit a low hum. They are pointed at the village structures, at the tools, at the Lurans themselves. The light from the scanners reflects in their eager eyes. They are gathering data. They are not here just for a lost child. They are here for everything else. The captain looks back at Aliyah. His expression softens just for a moment. Your survival it's a miracle, he says. The word sounds strange in his mouth. It is not a term from his military vocabulary. He means it. But the moment passes. His professionalism returns. This world, he continues, his voice dropping back into its official tone. Its position is highly strategic. The preliminary scans show unique mineralogical and biological readings, unexplained energy signatures. He says it like he is reading from a report. Because Aliyah listens. The meaning is clear. Her rescue is real, but it is not simple. It is the first move in a larger game. She is being saved, but her home is being evaluated. The people who saved her are being studied. She's back with her own kind, but she is standing on a fault line. The complication settles over her shoulders. It is a weight as real as the locket she once wore. A transmission comes from Earth. It is not a personal call. It is a proposal, a document of alliance and partnership. Captain Key receives it on a data slate. The screen glows with official seals and strategic maps. The terms are clear. Earth leadership sees Terrian 5's potential, its unique mineral deposits, its position along a quiet but valuable galactic corridor. They offer a trade, human technology, advanced medical systems, communications networks, construction equipment. In exchange, they want mining rights. They want to establish a permanent forward operating base. They want strategic positioning. The language is diplomatic. The intent is territorial. Key arranges a meeting. It is held in the shadow of the Resolute. A table is set up between the ship's ramp and the edge of the Silver Forest. Two groups face each other. On one side, Key and his officers. They wear crisp uniforms. They have data slates and projections. On the other, the Luran elders. They stand quietly. Their blue skin seems to absorb the harsh light from the human technology. They do not bring tools or maps. They simply are. The air is thick with the tension of two worlds colliding. The Luran's peaceful, isolated existence is about to be measured against the hungry engine of galactic politics. Aliyah stands between them. She is the pivot point, the only one who understands both sides. Not just the words, the music behind them. She translates Key's formal offers into the concepts the Lurans use. She tries to explain mining rights to a people who take from the land only what they need and always give back.
She tries to explain strategic positioning to a culture that has never known a war.
It is like describing color to someone who has only seen light and shadow. For the humans, she does the reverse. She explains the Luran way. She tells Key that the trees are not just resources. They are homes. They are alive. The light in the walls is a language, not a power source. She describes their communal life, their deep connection to the planet's equilibrium. She watches his face. He listens, he nods, but she sees the calculation in his eyes. He is fitting her words into a tactical assessment, weighing cultural sensitivity against strategic gain. Captain Key speaks to the elders through her. His voice is reasonable, persuasive. This partnership represents progress, he says. It is beneficial for all parties involved. He talks about improved infrastructure, medical advancements that could extend lifespans, defensive capabilities to protect them from threats they have not yet met. He paints a picture of a brighter, safer, more advanced future. It is a standard pitch, one he has given on a dozen frontier worlds. It assumes that progress is a universal desire, that everyone wants what Earth has to offer. Aliyah translates the words. She sees the blank, calm faces of the elders. They do not look excited. They look contemplative. They are not rejecting the offer. They are simply considering it from a place of profound difference. They are measuring this concept of progress against their own definition of a good life. The meeting is about to conclude. The humans are ready to move to specifics. The Lurans are ready to withdraw and meditate on what they have heard. Then Aliyah speaks. She does not translate. She addresses Captain Key directly. Her voice is calm. It carries a weight that her years do not account for. She has lived both sides of this proposal. She knows the value of a medgel pack. She also knows the value of a silent, star-filled night without a single engine hum. "Captain," she says. The word stops him. He turns to look at her. "You have explained what you can give them. You have explained why you think it is better." She pauses. Her eyes move from his face to the serene, glowing eyes of the Loran elders, then back to him. "But have you asked them if they want their lives improved?" The question hangs in the air between the two groups. It is a simple question, a child's question in a way, but it carries an immense challenge. It strikes at the core assumption of every colonial encounter in human history. The belief that our way is the better way, that advancement is always a gift. The silence that follows is heavy. Captain Key has no immediate reply. The data on his slate suddenly seems very small. The question echoes unanswered. The silence after her question is broken by Key. He does not answer it. He sidesteps it. His face grows serious. The professional mask slips back into place, but now it is etched with genuine concern. "Your question is valid," he says. His voice is lower now. Less a captain addressing a subject, more a man giving a warning. "But it assumes a peaceful galaxy. That is a luxury this world no longer has." He turns his data slate. The image shifts from mining surveys to tactical briefings. "Your arrival here was an accident. Our arrival was a choice. Others will make that choice too. And their reasons will not be peaceful." He pulls up a file. The image is grainy, taken from long-range sensors. It shows a fleet of ships. Their design is brutal, angular, sharp, forged from a dark, non-reflective metal. They look less like vessels and more like blades given flight. "The Azorian fleet," Key says. The name sounds like a curse. They are expansionists. They do not seek resources for trade. They consume worlds. They strip them. They leave behind dust and silence. Their technology is based on a blade culture. Every tool is a weapon. Every negotiation ends in conquest. They see isolation as weakness. They see a world like this. He gestures to the serene village, the pulsing trees. As an easy meal. He lets the image hang in the air. The threat is tangible. The Lurans watch the screen. Their glowing eyes take in the sharp, violent shapes. They see the contrast to their own flowing, organic existence. On the surface, their defense seems laughable against such a force. They have no ships, no energy shields, no projectile weapons. Their tools are made of wood and crystal. Their greatest strength is their harmony with the forest. It seems like a fragile thing against an armored fist, but Aaliyah has seen their strength. She knows their crystalline spears are not simple wood and rock. They can focus energy. They can disrupt machinery. She has seen their deep ecological knowledge turn the forest itself into a weapon, vines that can snare, plants that emit paralyzing spores. The land is their ally, but would it be enough against an orbital bombardment? Against soldiers who live for war? Key's warning is clear. "Isolation is a wall," he says, and walls get knocked down. This region of space is getting louder, more dangerous. You can choose to stand with us. Accept our protection, our presence, or you can choose to stand alone. He looks directly at Aaliyah now. The choice is being placed in her hands. Earth's protection means accepting their base, their minds, their terms. It means trading independence for security. Luran independence means facing the Azorians with spears and songs. It is a terrible choice. A choice between two forms of domination. She looks at the Luran elders. Their faces are calm, but their light seems to pulse a fraction faster. They understand the threat. They are not naive. They are weighing the cost. She feels the weight of both options. Neither feels right. Both ask her people to sacrifice their soul. Then she sees a third path. It is not on Key's data slate. It is not in the Luran traditions. It is something new forged from both. She turns to Key. "There is another option," she says. Her voice is steady. "You do not offer protection. We build it, together, not a human base on Luran land. A joint defense. A guardian fleet. With human ships and Luran knowledge, you learn the forest. They learn the stars. You provide the shield. They provide the home. An alliance. Not based on what you can take from them. Based on what you can learn from them." The elders listen as she translates her own idea back to them. They look at each other. A silent communication passes between them. The light in their eyes seems to brighten. The lead elder steps forward. He looks from Aaliyah to Captain Key. He gives a slow, deliberate nod. They will discuss terms. The door is open. It is not a surrender. It is a conversation. The Azorians arrive before the ink is dry. The agreement is not yet final. Their warships breach the atmosphere with a sound like tearing metal. It is not the controlled descent of human vessels. It is a violent, predatory intrusion. The ships are angular shadows against the emerald sky. They move with a terrible, sharp grace. Their purpose is clear the moment their bays open. They do not scan for life signs. They target the human settlement first. The new prefab structures near the Resolute glow bright on their scopes. Energy beams lance down. They strike the outer perimeter of the human compound. Metal huts vaporize. The ground turns to glass. The attack is a statement. They are here to eliminate the competition first. Then they will take the prize. The human soldiers respond. Their training kicks in. They return fire from defensive positions. Railgun slugs and laser pulses streak upward. They scratch the dark hulls. They do little else. The Azorian shields absorb the impacts. The battle seems destined for a short, brutal conclusion. Then the forest answers. The Lurans do not run. They stand their ground. They raise their hands. A deep hum resonates through the soil. It is a vibration felt in the bones. From the ground around the village, structures begin to rise. They are not metal. They are living crystal, pushed up from the deep earth. They grow like sharp, clear flowers blooming in fast motion. They interlock above the Luran homes. They form a dome of intricate geometric patterns. An Azorian energy beam strikes the crystal shield. The light does not pierce it. It spreads across the surface in a rippling wave of color. The shield holds. The humans watch, their firing slowing in stunned silence. They had scanned this planet. They found no energy signatures of this magnitude. They did not know to look for defenses that were part of the planet itself. Luran warriors move to the edge of the shield. They do not carry projectile weapons. They hold their crystalline spears. They are not simply pointed sticks. The crystal heads begin to glow with a soft white light. They take aim not at the ships but at the ground near the Azorian soldiers, who have begun to drop from transport pods. The warriors throw. The spears fly. They do not impale. They embed themselves in the soil. The moment they strike, the light in the crystal flares. A pulse of energy washes over the Azorian troops. It is not lethal. It is disruptive. Their armor systems flicker. Their weapon discharges fizzle. Their comms fill with static. Their technological edge is neutralized. They are reduced to soldiers in metal shells. In the midst of this chaos, a single Azorian trooper falls. A piece of shrapnel from a human counterattack finds a seam in his armor. He goes down hard, clutching his side. His comrades push forward, leaving him behind. The fight rages around his still form. Human and Luran and Azorian locked in a desperate struggle. Saren sees him. The Luran does not see an enemy. He sees a living thing in pain. He moves. He ignores the energy beams cutting the air. He ignores the shouts of warning. He kneels beside the wounded soldier. The Azorian looks up, his face contorted in pain and confusion behind his visor. He expects a killing blow. Saren's hands are empty. He carries a small woven pouch. He opens it. He applies a thick, dark paste to the wound. His touch is gentle. His glowing eyes are calm. The act is so alien to the context of screaming war that it creates a pocket of silence around them. A human soldier nearby lowers his rifle. He stares. An Azorian officer directing his troops stops shouting. He watches. The concept of rendering aid to an enemy on an active battlefield is not in any of their tactical manuals. It defies the logic of conflict. This single act of compassion, performed while battle still rages, becomes a fixed point. It changes the momentum of the fight. The shooting slows. The fury of the attack falters. The wounded Azorian soldier is not a casualty. He has become something else. He is a question. He is an opportunity. His survival is no longer a military detail. It is a diplomatic opening. The Azorian command agrees to talk. The call for a ceasefire goes out. Their ships hold position in the high atmosphere, dark and silent. A landing craft descends. It is smaller than the warships, but its design is just as sharp. A ramp lowers. Their delegation steps onto the scorched earth. They walk with the rigid posture of warriors. They expected to be met with force. They expected to be finishing a conquest. They did not expect their wounded soldier to be alive. They did not expect him to be sitting up, his injury treated with a strange dark paste, under the watch of a blue-skinned medic. The act of mercy has disrupted their entire understanding of conflict. It is a variable their blade culture cannot compute. They stand across from the human Luran group. Captain Key represents Earth. His diplomacy is pragmatic. He speaks of borders. of non-aggression pacts, of the strategic folly of a continued fight. His words are about restraint and resources. They are the language of a soldier who understands the cost of war and wants to minimize it. It is a familiar negotiation, a division of spoils and territories. The Azorians listen. Their faces are hard. They are waiting for the trap. The Luran elder steps forward. He does not speak of borders or resources. He speaks of connection, of the balance of life. He explains their role as protectors not of land but of the living systems upon it. He talks about cooperation with the forest, with the creatures, with the very air. His words, translated by Aliyah, sound like poetry to the warriors, but there is a steel beneath them. A profound confidence that this way is not weakness but a different kind of strength. The Azorian commander frowns. This is not a language he knows. The conversation turns. The commander's eyes narrow. He gestures toward the crystalline shield that defied his weapons. He points to the spears that disabled his troops. This technology, he says. The word is sharp. It is not yours. It is too old. Where does it come from? He is a warrior. He recognizes a superior weapon system. He believes it must be stolen, acquired, Saren answers. His voice is quiet but carries. It is not technology, he says. It is memory. He looks toward the great central crystal of the village. We are keepers. This world is a library. The crystals hold the knowledge of those who came before, civilizations that rose and fell long before any of our kind looked to the stars. Their memories, their sciences, their understanding of life itself. We do not build it. We learn it. We protect it. He taps his own temple, then points to his glowing eyes. We carry it with us. The revelation lands in the silence. The shield was not a shield. It was a recalled memory of an ancient defense. The spears were not weapons. They were manifested knowledge of energy disruption. The Lurans are not primitive. They are custodians of a legacy so vast it defies human or Azorian understanding. Their power is not in factories or forges. It is in preservation. In memory, this changes everything. The conflict is no longer about territory or tactical advantage. It becomes existential. The Azorians are not fighting over a planet. They are standing before the graveyard of empires mightier than their own. They are being offered a chance not to conquer, but to learn, to become part of a story larger than their own conquests. The commander looks from the Lurans to the humans. He sees not enemies but potential fellow guardians. The idea is so foreign it takes a moment to settle. He gives a stiff nod. The terms are no longer of surrender but of mutual respect. Agreement to withdraw, to observe, to consider this new larger reality. Their ships turn away. The immediate threat is over, replaced by a much larger, quieter question. The decision is made on Earth. It is broadcast across secured channels. The Luran species is declared under the permanent protection of the Earth Alliance. The declaration is not based on strategic value or resources. It is based on a single act. Saren kneeling to aid a wounded enemy. That one moment of compassion becomes the foundation of a new interstellar policy. Mercy is now a calculable defense asset. The Guardian fleet forms. Its composition is unprecedented. Human vessels form the core. Their technology provides the mobility, the firepower. Luran advisors are integrated into every command crew. They read space not as empty void, but as a living system. They sense gravitational tides, energy eddies, things human sensors miss. Then there are the Azorians. Not the entire fleet. A faction. A breakaway group of commanders and soldiers who saw something in that act of mercy that their blade culture lacked. They bring their aggressive tactics, but now they are tempered by a new purpose. They are not conquerors. They are sentinels. The galaxy watches. More aggressive species view the alliance with open skepticism. They see a weakness, a dilution of strength. They believe unity is born of uniformity, not diversity. They cannot understand why different species would fight for each other. They watch the Guardian fleet maneuvers. They see human ships deploying Luran sensor buoys. They see Azorian fighters running cover for human transports. The coordination is messy. The protocols are new. The skeptics wait for it to fall apart. They see friction, not fusion. The decision to protect an entire species was not taken lightly. Earth's leadership reviewed the testimony, not from soldiers or diplomats, from a single young woman. Aliyah's account of her time with the Lurans was the primary evidence. She described their healing, their connection to memory, their defense of life, not just territory. Her words were paired with sensor logs from the Resolute, the recording of Saren tending the Azorian soldier. The data was clear. This was a culture worth preserving. Their value was not in what they had, but in what they were. To manage this new reality, they create the Assembly of Guardians. It is not a human council. It is a multi-species governing body. Its first members are human captains, Luran elders, and the Azorian commanders who switched sides. Their first law is simple: protect the protectors. Their authority is not bound by territory. It is bound by principle. They answer to any world that calls for aid against unjust aggression. The concept is revolutionary, and it is immediately tested. A new threat emerges from the galactic fringe. They are called the Harvesters. They are not conquerors or expansionists. They are consumers. They do not occupy worlds. They process them. Their ships are vast mobile factories. They strip planets of all biological and mineral resources. They leave behind dead rocks. They see civilizations not as peers or enemies, but as raw materials. Their approach is methodical, relentless, and utterly devoid of malice. It is simply what they do. They are the ultimate negation of the Guardian ideal. Aliyah is offered a command, not a small ship, not a support role. She is given the flagship of the new Guardian fleet. The vessel is named Horizon. It is a symbol, a human hull, integrated with Luran crystalline systems and an Azorian-designed combat bridge. It is a physical manifestation of the Alliance. Her promotion is not political. It is practical. She is the only officer who truly understands all three cultures on her crew. She speaks their languages. She knows their fears. Her childhood survival was not an ending. It was the first chapter of her training. The crash, the loneliness, the trust built with Saren, it all forged the commander she becomes. Her past is the foundation upon which galactic peace is now being built, one difficult decision at a time. Saren finds her on the observation deck. The stars streak past the main viewport, lines of cold light against the black. He moves slower now. The injuries from the Azorian War left a deep mark. The healers did their work, but some damage goes beyond the physical. A vitality has been drained from him. His blue skin seems less luminous. He sits beside her. The silence between them is comfortable. It is the silence of people who have shared survival. He holds out his hand. In his palm rests a crystal. It is small, no larger than her thumb. It pulses with a soft internal light, the same light that glows in Luran eyes. "Keep this close," he says. His voice is a low hum, weaker than she remembers. "And I will always be with you." He does not explain what it is. He does not need to. She takes it. The crystal is warm. It feels alive in her hand. It is a piece of him. His health continues to fade. The decline is not swift. It is a gradual dimming. He spends more time in the Luran healing chambers. The advanced poultices and light therapies that saved her years ago cannot seem to reverse this. The war took something essential. He gave it freely. He never complains. He simply grows quieter. She wears the crystal on a thin chain. It rests against her skin, next to where her mother's locket once hung. It is a new weight, a different kind of memory. She studies it. The light within is not constant, it shifts. It pulses in patterns she almost recognizes. She learns it is not a recording. It is not a data chip. It is a piece of Saren's consciousness. His personal memories are stored within its lattice. But it is more than that. It holds his way of thinking, his perceptions, his instincts. It is a window into a Luran mind. Her rise to admiral was not a political appointment. It was an evolution. The crash survivor had to die so the leader could be born. That little girl learned to read alien light patterns and predator calls. The young woman learned to translate between species, to find common ground in the space between fear and need. The officer learned to command a crew of humans, Lurans and Azorians. Each role was a layer. Her dual heritage is her greatest strength. She is not fully human anymore. Not fully Luran, she is the bridge. She understands the human drive for order and the Luran respect for flow. She can speak the language of tactics and the language of memory. The first time she accesses the crystal's knowledge, it is not deliberate. It is during a crisis. A harvester probe is disrupting the Horizon's navigation systems. The human engineers are baffled. The Azorian tactical officer recommends brute force. Aliyah feels the crystal grow warm against her chest. She closes her eyes. She does not hear words. She sees a pattern. A solution unfolds in her mind not as a schematic but as a feeling. A understanding of energy as a living current, not a mechanical flow. She gives an order. It makes no sense on a human tech manual. It involves rerouting power through non-essential systems in a rhythmic pulse. The crew hesitates. Then they obey. The disruption clears. The system stabilizes. The insight was not hers alone. It was a blend. Her human knowledge of the ship's systems merged with a Loran perception of energy patterns, pulled from the crystal. It was an answer no purely human commander could have conceived. The memory crystal is no longer a sentimental token. It is a tactical instrument. It is her secret advantage. It allows her to think in two species at once, to see solutions that exist in the space between their ways of knowing. In the quiet of her ready room, she holds the glowing fragment. Saren's presence is not a ghost. It is a tool, a weapon. A way to see the battlefield through the eyes of the being who taught her that mercy can be the strongest move of all. The harvesters do not see other species as life. They see them as fuel. Their ships are not warships or carriers. They are processing plants. They enter a star system and begin consuming. They strip worlds of all biomass and minerals. They leave behind airless, barren rock. Their technology is brutally efficient. They are the ultimate expression of a single idea. Take what you need. Leave nothing behind. They are the exact opposite of everything the Guardian Alliance stands for. They are the void staring back at a garden. A harvester task force enters Guardian-protected space. 3 world ships. They move with a chilling, silent purpose. They do not send warnings. They do not issue demands. They simply begin their work. Their target is a settled moon. It is home to a small, peaceful colony of a recently discovered species. The moon is rich in a unique organic compound. To the harvesters, it is a resource node. To the Alliance, it is a protected world. The two forces are on a collision course. Their core philosophies cannot coexist. Aaliyah brings the horizon into the path of the lead harvester. The multi-species crew moves with a hard-won discipline. Human tactical officers work Luran sensor consoles. Azorian engineers monitor power flows calibrated to Luran crystal matrices. The bridge is a quiet hum of focused activity. There is no friction, only coordination. They have trained for this. They have become a single organism with many different parts. Her leadership is a blend. She uses human strategic doctrine to position the fleet. She uses Luran perceptual wisdom, drawn from the crystal at her neck to predict the harvester's movements. She sees their consumption patterns not as random, but as a predictable hunger. She understands that their strength is also their rigidity. They can only process in one way. They know only how to consume. The first exchange is violent. Harvester energy beams lash out. They are designed to break down matter at a molecular level. Standard shielding fails quickly under the assault. The Alliance ships take damage, but they do not break. Alia orders a new defensive pattern. It is not about making a stronger shield. It is about making a changing one. The human ships provide a baseline barrier. The Luran systems modulate the shield's frequency in a complex organic rhythm. The Azorian pilots fly erratic, unpredictable cover patterns. The defense is not uniform. It is diverse. It is alive. The harvester weapons cannot find a stable frequency to lock onto. Their attacks become less effective. They are trying to process a signal that keeps changing its nature. The harvesters cannot process the Alliance itself. Their sensors can identify human, Luran, and Azorian tech signatures. Their logic systems cannot compute why these 3 distinct species are fighting as one. They analyze the horizon. They see a human ship. They see Luran energy readings integrated into its core. They see Azorian combat protocols running its point defense. The data is contradictory. It should not exist. A ship is a single entity. It should have one origin, one purpose. This vessel has 3. Their response is not tactical. It is analytical. They pause. They try to recalculate. They try to understand the anomaly. This hesitation is their weakness. Their entire existence is based on a simple, brutal efficiency. They are not adaptable. They are a perfect system for a static universe. The Guardian Alliance is not static. It is built on the principle of dynamic cooperation, unity through diversity. The harvesters are looking at a problem their programming cannot solve. The United Front presents a paradox, the strength of many acting as one for the sake of others. This concept is alien to a mind that only understands consumption. The Alliance does not win by having bigger guns. It wins by being something the harvesters cannot comprehend. It proves that cooperation is a more advanced form of power than consumption. Admiral Alia Summers watches the tactical display. A harvester world ship moves toward the colony moon of Kalar. The moon is a garden world. Its inhabitants are a passive species with no spaceflight. They are farmers. They are poets. They are defenseless. Her own fleet is out of position. They just repelled an attack in a neighboring sector. They are damaged. Low on fuel. The math is simple. The only way to save the Guardian fleet is to let the Harvester take the moon. It is the pragmatic choice. The military choice. Sacrifice one to save the many. The logic is cold and clear. Her bridge crew waits for the order. They expect the command to withdraw, to regroup. Their faces are set. They are ready to accept the grim calculus of war. They have done it before. Alia's hand goes to the crystal at her throat. It is warm. It pulses with a soft, steady light. She closes her eyes. She does not see data. She feels a memory. It is not her own. It is Saren's. She feels the purple soil of Tarian 5 under her knees. She sees a blue hand offering a container of water. She feels the decision to trust. The choice for compassion over fear. The crystal is not giving her an answer. It is reminding her of a principle. The two paths are clear. One is written in every military textbook. Preserve your force. The other has no manual. It is a risk built on a feeling. A belief that there is always a third option, a way to protect without sacrificing. The memory shows her not a tactic, but a pattern. The Harvesters think in straight lines. They consume. They process. They are predictable. To beat them, you must be unpredictable. You must act in a way their logic cannot model. She opens her eyes. The crystal's warmth fades. The decision is made. Her voice is calm. It cuts through the tense silence on the bridge. New orders, she says. All ships. Converge on Kyler. Defensive pattern Theta. The officers look at her. Theta is not a defensive pattern. It is an experimental formation. It uses ships not as shields but as focal points. It is a Luran concept. It requires perfect timing. It has never been tested in live combat. It is a gamble. A wild, unproven idea. She explains the plan. It is not about creating a barrier the Harvester can break. It is about creating a network. Each ship becomes a node in an energy web. The web does not block. It redirects. It takes the Harvester's own consumption beam and feeds it back, overloading its intake systems. It turns their own hunger against them. The risk is immense. If the timing is off by a microsecond, the web collapses. The energy backlash would vaporize the fleet. And the moon. The fleet moves into position. The Harvester does not alter its course. It does not see the new formation as a threat. It sees only the target. Its central beam activates. A column of destructive energy lances toward the moon's surface. At the same moment, the Guardian ships fire. But they are not firing weapons. They are emitting a coordinated pulse of energy. The pulses meet in the space between the Harvester and the moon. They weave together, forming a complex lattice. The Harvester's beam hits the lattice. Instead of striking the planet, the energy splinters. It flows along the web's pathways. It is channeled back toward the Harvester's own emission array. The Harvester ship shudders. Its systems are not designed to process their own reflected energy. It is a feedback loop of its own making. Internal containment fails. The massive ship goes dark. Its engines die. It hangs in space, neutralized. The moon is untouched. The fleet is intact. The silence on the bridge is absolute. Then the cheering starts. It is not a shout of victory. It is a release of held breath, a sound of pure disbelief. The victory does more than save a world. It changes the balance of power. The Guardian fleet is no longer an experiment. It is a proven force. Its strength is not in its firepower, but in its creativity, in its refusal to accept the old choices. Alia stands at the viewport. The rescued moon hangs in the black, its lights glittering. Her journey is complete. The child who survived by an alien's mercy has become the admiral who defines a new kind of strength. The galaxy watches. They see the disabled Harvester. They see the saved world. They learn a new lesson. Sometimes the strongest defense is not a bigger weapon. It is a better idea. Mercy can be a strategy. Compassion can be a weapon. And it can win. One child's survival rewrote the rules. Alia's story taught humanity that protection does not stop at our own species line. It is a duty that extends to all who show mercy. The Guardian fleet now patrols the stars, a multi-species alliance defending countless worlds. It exists because a lone Luran chose compassion over caution for a lost human girl. He offered help instead of fear. That single act proved a fundamental truth. Sometimes the strongest defense does not begin with a weapon. It begins with an open hand.